Okay, as promised, I'll do some triangles together, and I'm going to help you be sure that you know how to identify your remote interior angles. So here's the process you should go through. I want to pick a prettier color. Let's go to the exterior angle. So this is the exterior angle right here. Identify the adjacent interior angle. Now it's pretty obvious. The two that are left, the two interior angles that are left, those are your remote interior angles. And the two remote interior angles are supposed to add together to equal 79. So 79, if you take 57 away from 79, you get that the answer is 22. So angle U right here would equal 22 degrees. And double check yourself, 22 plus 57 does equal 79. All right, the next one here is the exterior angle right here. The one adjacent to it is the interior angle that's adjacent to the exterior angle. So the other two, these two right here, are your remote interior angles. That means that 78 plus this angle down here is supposed to equal 121. So you take 121, take 78 away from it, and you're left with 43. So that means this angle down here should be 43 degrees. Okay, here's your exterior angle. Here's your adjacent interior angle. So these two would be your remote interior. The sum of the remote interiors should equal the exterior. So I'm going to take 75 away from 130, and you're left with 55. So this angle right here has to be 55. And last one, exterior angle is here, adjacent interior angle is there. So these two are your remote interior angles. 50 plus what will give you 100? I don't even need my calculator for that one. That would be 50. Now, all of these examples, you knew the exterior angle, but that doesn't have to be the case. So this could be the picture, and they could give you, I don't know, they could give you this one. Let's make the math pretty easy. Let's say that's 50, and that's, we'll say 40. All right, so they want you to find the exterior angle, or this one, either one. Well, these two are supplementary, so you can find this one right here pretty easily. So 180 minus 50, that was going to leave you 130. So this angle right here has to be 130. And now you know that 40 plus this thing right here is going to give you 130. So I believe that's going to be 90. All right. The other thing they could do is just make it pretty simple and straightforward. They could tell you that this is 50 and this is 60 and ask you how much this is. Well, 50 plus 60. This is the exterior angle. There's the adjacent interior angle. So these two are the remote interior. Add them together and equals the exterior. So 60 plus 50, I believe, is 110. All right, they won't always be that simple. These are very simple answers. This one right here, this is still pretty simple because it's not algebraic. We're just doing numerical values, which is going to require nothing more than simple addition and subtraction. So one piece of advice that I would make for you, though, is so make some observations. This angle right here is 68, so we know this one's 68. This angle right here is 90, so we know this one right here is 90. And now that we have some interior angles, we're more equipped to handle um, finding the missing angle pieces. So that's all of the ones that you should just be able to look at and answer the question. Everything else may take a little bit of a calculation. One piece of advice that I give you is to simplify your picture. So for example, because I now know these two interior angles, if these are the two angles that I'm using, and let me change it to pink now. If these are the two, if these are my remote interior angles, then this is going to be the exterior angle that I'm finding. And we can find it really simply by adding 90 plus 68. And I believe that comes out to be 158. And if that's 158, then we can calculate this one pretty easily because they're supplementary. They make a linear pair. And so we subtract 58 from 180 and we get 22. And so that gives us these two right here. Again, I would probably redraw my picture. And this time I would draw my triangle with maybe this one extended. Okay, so I have this angle right here is 22. This angle right here is 68. Those two added together will equal this angle right here. And of course, we know this one. So if this one's 90, this one right here has to be 90 because they have to make 180. And I believe that 22 plus 68 will give you 90. So which other angle do I need? Angle 1. So I'm just going to redraw the triangle. And I'm only going to draw the pieces that I need. So to find the measure of angle 1, I need these two remote interior angles. So that one's 22 and that one's 90. Add them together and you get 112. So that's pretty simple and straightforward if you can identify the pieces. And those are just some helpful hints. Your textbook gives you an example. That, and I'm not sure what page, 184. They work it out for you. I'm going to do it a little bit differently just to give you another option. They use the measure of angle 1, and I don't know, that just sometimes I don't like to do math with the geometry notations. So it tells us that Jason knows this section of glass facade. What he knows about it is that the measure of angle 2 is 3 times the measure of angle 1. What are the measures of all the angles? Okay, so they're telling us about the measure of angle 2. Do we know what measure of angle 1 is? No. So let's call that x, because that's what we do in algebra. When we have an unknown variable, or when we have an unknown value, we name it a variable. So I'm going to name angle 1 x. And then what did they tell us about angle 2? Angle 2 is 3 times, so angle 2 right here is, I'm calculating angle 2, 3 times, so I've got to multiply something by 3, the measure of angle 1. Well, what did we call the measure of angle 1? We called it x. So that means that angle 2 right here, the measure of angle 2 is 3x. Okay? So now I know I have enough information to write an algebra equation. I know that this is 124, so I can calculate the measure of angle 3 by subtracting it from 180. And I also know that this is an exterior angle, and these two right here are the remote interior angles. So that means that x plus 3x is supposed to equal 124. Now that's just an algebra equation. You learn to solve that in algebra 1. So x plus 3x simplifies to 4x. And then we divide both sides by 4 to solve the equation. And we get x is equal to 124 divided by 4 is 31. So x is equal to 31. So that means that angle 1 right here is 31 degrees, and angle 2 right here is 31 times 3, which is 93 degrees. And again, to find the measure of angle 3, all you have to do is take 124 and subtract it from 180, and you find out that angle 3 right here is 56 degrees. You have some try these. So probably after try these, let's see what's next. Need to move my thing. Check your understanding. So I'll do the try these with you, and then you can do the check your understanding, and I'll check it at the beginning of the next video. So we're going to really have some algebra to do here. The measure of angle 2 is 10x plus 2. And the measure of angle 1 is 11x minus 11. And they give us the exterior angle. The exterior angle, the adjacent interior angle. So these are the remote interior angles. What do we know about the remote interior angles? Their sum, so angle 1 plus angle 2 is supposed to equal the exterior angle. Angle 1 plus angle 2, the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 should equal 138. So this is an algebra equation. I just need to add them together. So combine your like terms, 11x and 10x, that's 21x's. A negative 11 and a positive 2, I believe, is negative 9. Okay, I've simplified this side of the equal sign. I've simplified this side of the equal sign. So there's nothing left for me to do now except combine like terms by doing the opposite. I'm moving the constant to the other side of the equal sign. Those add to 0. 21x equals 138 minus 9. I believe that's 129. Divide by 21. Divide by 21. And we get 6.4. That does make me nervous, but it doesn't mean that I'm wrong, because you can have decimals as answers. I'm just going to round it to 1 decimal place. But the reason that we get nervous, and I know you do too, because I always have kids ask me, is I think I got the wrong answer. How do you know you got the wrong answer? Because it came out to be a decimal. That doesn't mean necessarily that you did anything wrong. But so often the textbook creates answers that are not decimals that we do get nervous. So we're going to be able to check it. I'm trying to check real quick and see. Oh, I see what I did wrong right here. I took away 9. I didn't add 9. So that's the problem. So this should not be 129. This should be 147. And if you do 147 divided by 21. Let's see if that comes out better. Yes, you get 7. Okay, so we get x to be 7. And since x is 7, they want us to find the measure of the 3 angles. So 11 times 7 is 77. 77 minus 11 is 66. So they said 66 is the measure of angle 1. 10 plus 7 is 70. 70 plus 2 is 72. And we're going to check and make sure, because remember, angle 1 plus angle 2 is supposed to equal 138. So I'm going to add 66 plus 72 together, and I get 138. So I'm going to subtract 138 from 180, and I got 42. And these are all degrees. The reason that we want to be extra careful and be sure and put degrees is because in geometry, you will learn a different way to measure an angle towards the end of the course. And it's a great deal of confusion if you're not very practiced by putting the angle measure. So I'm going to stop the video here. You should do the check your understanding. and the practice. And my last video for this section will be providing you with the answers to these. Check your understanding and the 13-1 practice. And I will make a video for the answers.